We are demanding an explanation from Federal Minister Mr. Gov't on why his department is trespassing on private land without the owner's permission to take water samples from dugouts. We have received reports of this occurring in several places throughout Saskatchewan. It says, as the minister responsible for the Saskatchewan Water Security Agency, I'm advising that all federal employees should immediately cease and desist any further surreptitious entry on private lands, discontinue all testing activities where samples are inappropriately acquired, and that the relevant federal department contact the Saskatchewan Water Security Agency to advise it of the extent and scope of this testing project. Violation of the Trespass to Property Act in Saskatchewan would have significant consequences, including a maximum penalty of $25,000 for repeat offenders, up to 6 months imprisonment following conviction for a first or subsequent trespass offenses, and $200,000 maximum penalty for any corporation that cancels and or aids in the commission of that offense. What that means is there is government officials, provincial government officials, who have officially threatened imprisonment of federal employees of this country.
And to be honest, I'm okay with it in this sense. What gives them the right? What? Because you're the federal government. Right. That's not a good enough answer.
Right.
As a property owner, you wouldn't like that, I'm sure.
No, definitely not.
Regardless, it just comes down to principle. It's illegal. It doesn't matter what your thoughts on nitrogen levels are. It doesn't matter what your thoughts on the Trudeau government is. It's just illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. I just it's interesting that what I find interesting about this, and maybe it's just because I'm younger. I just wasn't as in touch with politics, but this is the first time I've ever seen this in my life.
Where another government is.
Yeah. Publicly coming out against another government saying, if you continue, we will arrest you.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, things are escalating. Like, people are, it's getting wild.
Shout out to this MLA for actually sticking up for his constituents.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I don't know if there's been a similar circumstance where that could have applied in Nova Scotia. Not that I can think of anyway, but I would hope they would act like this if it was in our best interest of what the constituents are saying. Because farmers don't want this to happen.
No. We all know it's coming.
Right. They know what's behind it. So, I think that was pretty cool. Yeah, what's it say? We've advised the federal government that this...
Oh, yeah. This is
violating...
We've advised the federal government that this should cease immediately.
And you can report them.
Yep. Yeah, he's coming in hot.
Yeah, he came in with the phone number to report them.
Yeah, we should have just read the tweets instead of the document.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. But dang.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's I'm spooked personally. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and let's say the federal government doesn't cease and desist and they keep going. If he doesn't follow through, it's like the exact same Taiwan, China, U.S. thing.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
You look weak. Like now threats are empty.
Yeah,
which is not good either.
And this is where it gets interesting. Is like when you start trying to arrest people, in this case, it's actually illegal what they're doing. But you start getting ideological people in government and law enforcement.
Yeah.
So say, hey, arrest that man, and the officer's like, no, I'm not arresting a federal employee, no matter what you say. Hands are tied.
Yeah. And will you fire that police officer?
Exactly. Things get weird.
And then, right. And what if the whole police force thinks that way? Then what do? You can't fire them all.
No.
So it opens so many doors.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious as a police force in general, how people feel about the Trudeau government.
Each province or specifically Saskatchewan?
Let's say, yeah. I mean, I'm curious each province, but let's Saskatchewan in this case.
Well, I mean, I would assume the RCMP has likely been instructed to feel a certain type of way. I mean, we saw it with the mass shooting here. Right. How there was someone at the top who said, this is how we're going to act about this. I'm sure that exists in every province.
Yeah.
The local police agencies, I'm sure, are a mix.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I'd be curious if they do it or not.
Because really, when you look at it, what is a police officer? It's just a person who has a full life outside of being a cop. So,
yeah, I'm curious at what point is.
And in the reverse, what if there's cops who are super for the farmers and they start arresting but what if they start beating them up or using force that they don't have to on these federal agents to get it out on the Or if they don't like Trudeau, and there's a Trudeau federal agent there, and it gives them the opportunity to brutalize them.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance to definitely abuse these people.
This could get really messy.
Yeah, this could get really bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it could get really messy.
It started with Mar-a-Lago. Mark my words.
Stop. Dude, every time I see a tweet about this Trump stuff, I'm like, it just keeps getting uglier.
It's bad.
Everything that's going on with Trump right now is crazy.
Dude, the fact that no law office wants to even touch him as a client.
Because, I mean, it's Donald Trump. It's probably an ugly client to have, but he can pay.
Yeah.
So it's like, and law offices love money.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, I think the cult of leftism is so strong and will abuse anybody that I think people are just terrified. Because, like, let's be honest, like ACLU, they've like represented far worse individuals.
Yeah.
Like, including the Klan. Like,
but at a time where that was, I guess, less cancelable.
Yeah, I mean, late 90s.
You know,
late 90s. So, it wasn't that, it was relatively recent. It wasn't like it was the 70s.
I guess what I should say is that I guess the ability to prosecute in the court of public opinion was harder.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because now, I mean, between Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, you can take someone out.
That's true.
But how would you take down a law firm? Like, it's a law firm.
Yeah. It's more so not so much like you'll take out the firm. It's just like they will abuse the employees to the point of like just.
Oh, you mean physically, like the employees or the partners or.
Yeah, calls to the home, threats.
Right.
Scaring
Which we
people.
even see here with people came after Dr. Strang in his house here.
Yep.
Which is like so minuscule compared to a federal investigation. So, yeah, I guess I never thought of that either.
Yeah, there's a lot people can do, and you don't want to get involved with. It gets nervous.
I've never cared so much about something. I've never cared that much about something.
I know, right?
Like, there's nothing I've ever been that passionate about where I was like, I need to call and harass someone to feel good about myself.
And threaten them. Like,
that's crazy.
That's bonkers, dude. People are cranked.
Over something that will, like, they don't care. You're just, again, you make yourself look silly.
Definitely.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my opinion.
Talk about, things getting messy, right? Like, just like we talked about it, like, what if these federal, as you said, like, what if these farmers or, police officers start getting physical with these federal employees? What happens?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never thought about the farmers.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, I think Trudeau's thought about this.
Is he going to arm his agents?
Speaking of arming your agents, there's new plans that were leaked of what Trudeau's doing in the Midwest.
Yeah, specifically the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we ever call our middle of the country provinces.
But I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean? We're talking about Manitoba, Saskatchewan, where all of our kind of like the heart of our farms are.
Yeah.
There's some new plans that were leaked. Trudeau is installing weapons armories and interrogation rooms for Ministry of Climate Change.
Interrogation rooms for Ministry of Climate Change.
I thought we were just trying to help save the earth, go green.
Yeah, who are we interrogating regarding climate change?
Yeah, I'm so curious. And like, we'll be honest, this is
this does come from a right-leaning publication.
100%. So what you're going to see is a lot, is going to come from that lens.
Like the ads are just out of control.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize. Yeah, that's wild. Chinese-style social credits coming to Canada. Yeah, not wrong. But it's
Mind
really,
you,
it's really wrong.
The plans that are released are official.
Yeah, yeah.
So the jargon is void in a sense.
Yeah. Say take it how you want to take it.
Yeah.
But here goes. Architectural plans have been leaked to the counter signal, revealing Trudeau's sinister plans to weaponize the climate change agenda. The Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Canada is building a new facility in Winnipeg that will be home to firearms armory, interrogation rooms, biological labs, media relations offices, quote-unquote controlled quiet rooms, and intelligence facilities. The plans, which were drawn up by a firm in Winnipeg, open a window into Trudeau's future plans for climate enforcement. Down the hall from the proposed firearm storage rooms are several evidence rooms, interrogation suites, and adjacent recording rooms. According to a recently posted Indeed.com ad, the ministry is searching to recruit a battalion of climate pollution officers, a unit within the coldly named Environmental Enforcement Directorate. If you emit too much carbon or use too much fertilizer, you may just be on the climate. There it is. The climate communist hit list. We'll end it there. But that's the fact that they're hiring for people.
Yeah, regardless of their verbiage.
Climate officers.
An environmental enforcement directorate and hiring climate pollution officers.
Yeah, pollution is in quotes, so they may have just added that in. So it's like
Climate officers.
climate officers. So
Why does it mean officer?
it's interesting.
And even if it's harmless, why do you pick such scary language?
Yeah.
I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I had a big problem with the word social distancing. Because I was like, why? It's like you're taking something like friendship, being social, or companionship, and then you're adding the word distancing. Are you trying to create distance between people? That's what it felt like. To me, it's like physical distancing means you should be 6 feet away from someone else. But social distancing just sounded worse to me.
Interesting.
And I pick up on things like that, like officers. Why do they have to sound so scary?
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that? Why can't they be a climate activist? If it's such a great thing.
Yeah.
I just don't get the verbiage.
Yeah, it's interesting. Climate officers. I mean, yeah, it's odd. It goes back to even what happened down in the States when the Biden administration hired 87,000 new IRS agents who they fully armed.
Yeah, what? IRS?
Like, they're all packing. Why?
Yeah.
Why are they packing?
Yeah.
I thought we wanted to get rid of guns in America, Biden.
Yeah.
Why are they packing?
And you gave it to the tax people.
Yeah.
You gave it to the money people. You gave guns to a bunch of accountants. What?
Yeah, straight up. Super odd. And I find this lines up with that too. You know, people who are just trying to enforce our climate agenda.
Yeah.
You're going to arm them. You've given them an armory at this facility. Why?
Specifically near Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Right in the heart of Manitoba.
Farmland.
You're in Manitoba, this is going up in.
Yeah.
What's the plan? Are they expecting farmers to get violent? Are they expecting officers not to comply?
Right. And they want to have their own.
Yeah.
So would a climate officer be under the direct report of the RCMP?
That's a good question. Or will they be their own thing?
Right.
Will they be like a
division of the military,
Yeah,
a division of...
Yeah, like a difference of the CIA versus the FBI.
Right. Yeah, like a new agency in Canada. Because
Yeah.
we have something that's like the CIA or FBI here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like we have an elite police force.
Do we?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, everyone calls them the feds, but you ever seen like the big blacked out Suburbans that are sometimes in Halifax?
Oh, yeah. I actually watched that huge raid that happened a few years back, just off Joe Howe.
Oh, that was, and that same, the big blacked out Suburbans with
crazy.
with like the racks on the front that can like drive through, but like they show up out of nowhere.
Literally out of nowhere. They're just driving over curbs.
Like, where do they park? I was just in the South End somewhere. Like, where do they keep those vehicles in the meantime?
Seriously, right?
Gee. Yeah, they just come out of nowhere. But yeah, that's like the real deal cops, I guess.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fighting drugs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's what they're up to.
That's what they're up to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be curious to read more into this. What's going on? But that's a legitimate thing. It's just tough because, let's be honest, only really right-leaning publications are going to cover this stuff.
Yeah, the CBC is never going to say what's going on with farmers is wrong.
No,
they're going to say we should be in the fields, and who are they to say we can't go test their water? It's just water. That's what they're going to say. Well, what's the big deal? It's just water.
Yeah.
What are you hiding if we can't look at it?
Yeah.
That's the rhetoric.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mine.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And we all know what your plans are with all the cutting the nitrogen stuff and all that BS. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, admittedly, it's kind of an easy plan to see through.
Yeah.
It's not Trudeau's best work at hiding something.
No, I mean, that's definitely never been his strength.
Yeah, this one's just really weak.
Yeah. Yeah,
because it's coming at the same time as the stuff that's happening over in is Poland? Where were we?
The Netherlands. And it's also happening in Germany now too.
So it's like you're all doing it at the same time. We're seeing it.
Hello. And what I'm thinking is stuff like this. He's hoping all his homies in the media are just going to run cover for him.
Yeah.
Make sure no one talks about it.
Yeah.
And why do you think? Why do you think he makes sure Rebel never is in to interview him or be in the press conference room?
And Lisa LaFlamme,
dude, that was interesting.
Axed at the height of people hating Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
And she was always the one that covered every political debate. Mm-hmm. She cut it, man. She cut through the crap. She gave it to us. Why now? All her male counterparts that were in the position before her were in the positions until their 70s. She's 50-something.
Right.
The CEO was on record saying, who decided to let Lisa Laflamme go gray?
Right.
Nuts.
I thought you weren't a fan of her.
I wasn't. I didn't like her just strictly because I would say, how would I phrase it? Where I just didn't appreciate her style of news, if that made sense. What she was saying was fine. I just didn't like watching her.
Right.
It was just a personal preference. It was nothing against her. But now, knowing why she maybe was fired, it's like, was she because she was a woman? Was it because she was going gray, like showing signs of aging? Or was it because she told the truth?
I wasn't going to back down to
And either way, a media company shouldn't have the right to let someone go over those grounds.
Yeah, I'm curious what's coming. Oh, I mean, we all know what's coming. It's just like I just want to know how bad it's going to get.
Yeah, when there's plans like this, when media agencies start letting go people who would tell the truth, when it's harder to find the truth, that's not a good recipe.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most about it is like, things like Counter Signal, Rebel, they obviously have like, their reputation precedes them, right?
Yeah, they screwed up in the beginning by being right-wing crazies, really, and now no one trusts them.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm not even gonna go as far as saying they're right-wing crazies because I don't know. I don't know the stories that they screwed up on or didn't screw up on. I've never gone that far into it. But I mean, Trudeau's done a good job of also making sure they look crazy too.
Absolutely.
But like they're like those are like the places where I'm like they're the ones I'm like getting like this type of news from. Like I've never seen National Post cover this stuff.
Sometimes you have to read through their.
You have to see.
You have to see the light through the trees because obviously, like any media, they're pushing their end.
Yeah,
they have to. They also want to make money.
Yeah.
So if you could take a blend out of what the CBC puts out and what something like Rebel puts out, somewhere in the middle has to be the truth. Like it's somewhere. The truth is somewhere.
Yeah.
So I guess my beef is honestly with places like this too, because they don't make it easy really to see the truth either. Why does CBC? Why do they get a free pass where we say you have to see through the light through the trees, but we don't say the same about CBC?
Yeah,
I think they're both actually doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're just different sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
yeah. You have to be very conscientious and critical of everything you're reading.
Yeah. I think that's the main point out of this is you really have to. I know we always say make sure you're doing your own research, but it's so true.
Yeah,
you have to.
Absolutely, and the battle for our farms begins. End independent ownership of farms, and here comes government-owned farming.
Or corporations.
Yep. It's starting.
Are you getting is it clicking?
Yeah.